What could be better than a 1980s Tama Superstar kit? Two 1980s Tama Superstar kits? Definitely. Alright, so what did I do? Well, I happened to find this Tama Superstar kit locally and I just could not pass it up. And the reason for that is because I absolutely love my Superstar Super Maple kit, which is directly behind me, which you saw earlier. And what you will notice is that this is the power tom sized kit for the Superstars. And the Super Maples are the regular depth. So we'll go ahead and get a tape measure on here for you in a second, but these are the non-power tom sizes. And these are the power toms. Da, 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 da. They are boomy and giant and massive. So what do we have here? Let's revisit what the Tama Superstar kit is. First of all, this is probably a 79 or 80 kit based on the serial number. This one's actually just a few hundred digits less than the Superstar Super Maple kit that I have behind me. So this is a little earlier, but it is still around that 1980 time period. Very great year for Tama, really benchmark year in drums. So the sizes that we have are 13, 14, and 16. We'll go ahead and get you some depth sizes here in a second, but the final marquis de bass is the bass drum at 24 inches. And if you know my previous kit, my Super Maple kit, you'll know that that's also a 24, I believe it's a 24 by 16. But let's go ahead and get some measurements on the depths of these bad boys, and then we can hear what they sound like. So I believe this 13 is a 12-inch depth. The 14-inch tom has a depth of around 13 inches, I would say. Maybe closer to 12, but I think it's probably 13. And we have a 16-inch depth on the 16. So this is a square tom, 16 by 16. And this is a 16-inch depth on the 24-inch kick. So this is a complete kit, but one thing to note about the power tom kits from Tama is that it's probably not the best idea to mount them on the Omnisphere mount in the center. And you can see that this kit does not have the Omnisphere tom mount like this. This is how the toms are mounted on the Super Maple kit, and it's really my preferred setup because that way you can free up space to the left and right of the kit, where in this case we actually have to have individual stands. Well, I guess they're not individual because they do hold a cymbal each, but these are a boom cymbal with the tom mount and just on either side. So that's a pretty standard configuration for drums that are not mounted on the center of the kick. So nothing too exotic there, but not my preferred setup in all reality. I kind of just strung these cymbals up here because it's going to take a little bit more dialing with the height of everything here, but they're in range of being hit and they do the job. So let's talk about the snare and the hi-hat. These are not Tama products. This is actually a Slingerland snare. I'm not exactly sure what model. I'm not a huge Slingerland fanboy, so I don't know exactly what this snare is. But it is a Slingerland. I'll show you the badge here in a second. And we also do get this Ludwig stand for it. The hi-hat is, this is the weak point. This is bent at the top, and it's just kind of coming apart. So I don't know if there's any value in this hi-hat stand. I'm just using it just because it holds the cymbals fine and it works, but it's by no means perfect. And finally, behind the kit, we do have a rock and sock throne. I threw my Dixon pedal on this kick because my Iron Cobra is on the other set, so this gets the Dixon, and it sounds great. So let's go ahead and take one last look of this guy from behind the kit, and then we will hear what it sounds like. So the Tama Superstars of this era are 100% birch wood. So the kick, the toms, You name it, that's 100% birch. And I do believe it's a 9-ply birch. And the hoops on the bass kick are birch. Everything is birch. So it is a little confusing when you hear the name of this color tone. They call this one Super Mahogany. So is there mahogany in this kit? No, absolutely not. It is not made of mahogany, it's birch, and the finish is called Super Mahogany. Just like the Super Maple is called Super Maple. I do believe they have an aquamarine as well, which I think is called Super Aquamarine or something like that, but this one is the Super Mahogany, and it's actually, I don't want to say this because I love the blonde, but I think this is my favorite finish on these drums. I love the darker hues and how it works with the rings in the wood. So it's just a really beautiful drum set, and it's not without its dings, its knocks, its things that go through the finish into the wood. So I'm not going to say that this is a mint condition kit, it is not, but it was really, really well cared for, and I'd say that the dingage is to a minimum, and it's certainly something that I can live with. It doesn't affect the sound. There's no delamination of any of the plies. They all look rock solid. So we'll probably do a little in-depth tear down of this drum set in the future, but for now it's actually tuned up pretty well and ready to rock and roll. So let's just hear what it sounds like. All right, so I've got 2 microphones on this drum set. I would love to recreate my entire drum mic setup on the Super Maple for really true one-to-one comparison, but I only have these 2 mics left, so we're gonna run with this one. I have the SE4033 Audio-Technica condenser mic, and then I also have another condenser mic by Electro Voice, the EVRE 520, I believe. And those are both condenser microphones. They're just kind of off-center and about exactly equidistant from the drum set and from one another. So it sounds like this. So this cymbal is massive. This is I believe it's a 22-inch, but it doesn't really have much writing on it. I'll have to get the magnifying glass out and see if I can find some markings, but I do believe it's a pretty old Zildjian cymbal. It is, of course, a ride cymbal. Not a very active bell. So there you go. This one, I believe, is a Zildjian hollow logo, which is maybe apparent on the back. It does say Zildjian, and it is the hollow style logo. So not exactly what era of Zildjian is, but it sounds really good. And both of these cymbals ring forever. The other 2 cymbals that came with this drum set are the hi-hat, and again, they look semi-unmarked, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are, in fact, Zildjian as well. This stand is basically garbage at this point. But the cymbals sound really good, and, you know, I'm doing the best I can. Very similar to the cymbals, these toms ring forever. Especially this one. I'm not sure if I want that much resonance in my toms, so I think I might put a little moon gel on these, but I didn't have any extra lying around, so I'm gonna have to pick some of that up and see what kind of difference it makes. I guess I could take them off of that set, but I like how they sound. Really nice to hit, very fun, big toms. We have Evans G2 heads. These are level 360 Evans heads. I think the G2 means these are coated heads, so whatever that means to you, they are coated. And I think they sound pretty good. I typically will play Evans heads, but I'm sincerely thinking about trying out a set of Remos for my next set of heads. But these ones are familiar to me. They feel good, and I like how they feel. And the snare is actually a G1, and the rest of the toms are G2, and the bass has a Remo Weather King. So this is a really nice coated batter head for the drum, the kick drum. So I just set these up today, and my wife Gabby and I took a listen to both sets side by side, back to back. And she said she liked this one better. I personally prefer playing the Super Maple set. I don't know if it's just the shorter toms or whatever it is. It's just my kit. It feels like my kit. And this one, it's not far off by any means. It's tall. These power toms really make a difference in the setup.